My name is Bree, and today we are on day 2 of the Cookie Advent Challenge. Let's see what I get in here. Just love having random cookies to cook. We are having chocolate chip cookies. Alright, so this one comes out of my notebook of cookies, recipes I just write down. Over the years that I find. If I find one I like, I just write it down in my notebook and just store them all in here. You can see random pages out of magazines just shoved in here. And this notebook predates all of my grandma's recipes being given to me, so I didn't know that was coming to me. But anyway, that's what I do. I could have probably organized that neater, but that's a future me problem. First thing I'm going to do is soften a cup of butter or 2 sticks. I shove that in the microwave and put like 30 seconds on to soften it. Then you're going to put that in the bowl, and then we're going to get a cup of sugar, regular sugar out, and a cup of brown sugar. Fair warning, there's lots of sugar in this cookie recipe, but it does make a lot of cookies. And I try to scoop it out with this and it doesn't work, so then I have to get a spoon. For whatever reason, I thought that I could stick the cup in there. So in the future, I'm going to get like a bigger container for my brown sugar so I don't have to do this again. Okay, I'm going to add 1 cup of sugar. I have a smaller measuring cup, so I have to do this twice. I think this is a half a scoop. And then I'm going to mix this all up with a hand mixer because my KitchenAid is dirty, and it is not easier to do this with a hand mixer. Just in case you're wondering, should I have a hand mixer out or should I have a KitchenAid? Use your KitchenAid if you have that, because it takes a good 2 or 3 minutes to cream all this together. And I don't want to even imagine how long this takes with just like a whisk, because that's going to take forever to cream all that sugar together. What you don't want when you're mixing the sugar like this is like to see the grains of sugar in the butter. You should not see that. If you do, you need to keep mixing your butter. It should be all one mixture. And then like make sure like you scrape the sides of the bowl so when you add the flour you don't have like grains of sugar on the side. Then it gets all clumpy and makes your cookie uneven. So this is what we're looking for, like a creamy mixture. Can't really see it that well on the camera, so I try to use a spoon. But it is very creamy and soft. Alright, so now we're going to add some eggs. It's 2 eggs. I always do a bowl first because I don't want any shells in my cookie powder. Some people are like experts at doing it. I just never trust myself to do it. And also I like to look at the egg just to make sure the egg looks decent. Sometimes you never know, you could open the egg and it could be weird looking, and if you didn't crack it into a bowl first you wouldn't have noticed sometimes. Alright, I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of vanilla. I would love just to add so much more, but sometimes too much liquid in a batter isn't a good thing. And then we're going to mix this all up until it's nice and creamy Again, you shouldn't see like separate items. You should make sure it's really mixed together. And then I'm going to show you just on the outskirts, you can see how like grainy this is. The camera would focus just a little bit. You don't want like the graininess of the spoon to be in there, so you would need to mix it if your mixture looks like the spoon. But if it looks like what's in the bowl, you're good to go. I didn't really understand that when I was first making cookies, so I would just mix it a little bit and then said that was good. But after making cookies for a while, I realized it was just important to make sure that you mix everything really well. Okay, so I'm adding the flour, and it's 3 cups of flour. It's just about 3 cups of flour. Could be over a little bit, but you know, it's not like weighed out, so good enough. And then we add the baking soda. What you're really supposed to do is mix baking soda with water and then put it in there. And then I realized afterwards that I made the mistake, and I'm like, well, it's too late now. So I'm just gonna go ahead and add the water in on top of it. It's fine, it all worked out. Here I am running to get the water. I'm laughing because I've made this recipe so many times, and yet I still make the simplest mistake. It's kind of funny. And apparently it takes me forever to get the water. There we go. I think I was so mad at myself for doing that. Okay, now you need to carefully mix all this together so you don't get flour all over you. I'm really trying to be neater in the kitchen. I think it's only working out for me just a little bit. But I just use the paddles to mix it around, and then I turn it on when I feel like it's safe enough to mix without getting flour all over me and the camera and everything else. And it really doesn't take too long to mix it after this point because everything's pretty well mixed. And now it's my favorite time to add the chocolate chips. You're supposed to just add 2 cups of chocolate chips, but I just go with whatever's in the bag because there's no way I'm going to measure out 2 cups with what's in the bag. Sometimes if I want extra chocolate chips, I just add in more. I never add in less. It's always more the chocolate chips. I think my kids love me for it. Sometimes even I add in like a mixture of chocolate chips. I do like mini chocolate chips, regular sized chocolate chips, and then like chocolate chunks. That makes it really good as well. Or if it's like Halloween time, I do like any kinds of Halloween candy in this. That's also amazing. And then I just gently mix this with a spoon. If you mix it with a mixer, you might break up all those chocolate chips. If you're fine with that, go ahead and do that. Whatever you want to do. And then this dough doesn't need to chill, thankfully. You just go ahead and put it on a cookie sheet and bake it at 350 degrees for, I normally bake mine for 10 minutes, but you can bake it up to like 12 minutes. If you want it really crispy, bake it for longer. And you can make these any size cookies you want. Like, I just do my cookie scoop size, but I've tried making them bigger as well. That works. It's just a lot of cookies. Or you can make them really small. They can become a little crispier if you bake them longer. Just however you like that. after a while I got tired of making cookies because I have several trays full of it. So I'm just going to put the half of this batter into the freezer. And how I do this is just put a plastic wrap down, and then I dump the bowl in, dump all the cookies batter into the plastic wrap. And I make a log. And then I wrap that cookie log up really well, and then I put it in a Ziploc bag. And then when I want it, I just cut it out like any other cookie log that you could get from the store and bake it off so I can have fresh cookies at any time. I normally do this starting in September. I normally like save like half of all my cookie recipes, so then I have a lot of cookie recipes for the holidays. But this year I moved, so I didn't have any in the freezer. It's always good to have cookies in the freezer. I mean, you can take them anywhere, especially when you have kids and they're always like, I need to bring in cookies to school, and it's the last possible moment they could have told you. That's when I pull these cookies out, or any other cookie recipe I have, and I'm like, well, we got cookies. But it works. Or sometimes you just want cookies. They also can make good gifts as well. Like if you know somebody that just wants cookie dough and it's already made for them, you can give that away as well. Or you can bake them and wrap them. I've done that before. Alright, into the freezer it goes for however long it lasts. I bet it's not going to last to January. I know I'm making a lot of cookies, so it might last to January this time, but most of the time my cookie recipes don't. And then I just make sure that when you're wrapping it, make sure it's wrapped up really good. You don't want like any freezer burn to happen. So I try to make sure I don't have any air in it. And then to freeze it, I lay it in a flat surface in my freezer as well, so it doesn't get weird shaped. If it does, you can still eat the cookie if it has weird shapes in it, but not freezer burn, because that's gross. Okay, here's what the cookies look like when they're done. As you can see, I still have a lot of cookies, even though I halved it. And I made these cookies to the max size I could fit in the box. I really had to cram them in there. But I managed to fit 4, so that's all that matters to me. And then I'm going to take the rest of these cookies to work with me the next day and surprise my coworkers. Alright. I'm trying to find like the smallest cookies to put in this box. It was definitely a challenge. In the future, I'm gonna have to make like really small cookies. Think about it. At least today I learned not to color the paper and not to waste my time with it. Maybe by box 24 I'll be like an expert at this. This morning the kids really enjoyed opening up one. They're like, I wonder what's in 2. See how I shoved it in there, it just barely fit. My daughter asked me if there were cookies in boxes already, and I'm like, no, I'm just going to put them in there as I go along. Alright, so they rated this cookie 4 out of 4. We have 4 bulbs out of 4, so everybody loved this cookie recipe, in case you're wondering. I want to thank you for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.